This is a profound platform where we all get together, and not only the person who's speaking is the person who's speaking and listening. Everyone learns and goes from here. And since I have joined in here, frankly, I see a progression in my case. Every time you pick up one or nitty-gritties so profound that actually it makes a difference to your growth. And we all here, and today we'll be discussing a topic which we have looked for ourselves, and that is Atma-Jnanam, self-realization. We will seek to establish the fundamental truth of the creation and describe the evolution and involution of the world, the state of human heart and his evolutionary status. Everyone says that this is all an illusion, that's a fine. The moment you get into spiritual side, the first thing you're told, oh, this is an illusion. This world is an illusion. You must go beyond. That is what exactly is what we look in. But the fact is that this illusion is so big, and to understand what is beyond this illusion, you've got to understand what this illusion is and how you're part of this illusion, how this illusion is evolving you. Because in every moment we are evolving, every moment we are moving from one status to another, to another, to another. So this is exactly what we are looking forward to today to understand that particular ambit. And before per se I start the session, I'd like to show you a small little film clip, a very interesting film clip which is there. And this film clip is about a lady who's lying down on the lawns of Google headquarters in USA. And you see the magnitude of expansion which is beyond our body, and the magnitude of expansion which is within our body. And this film is, I think, one of the most magnificent film which has been made by Google, which actually tells us what we are in this whole Brahman when we're sitting together. And this picture represents only a fraction of the Brahman, what has been created. And it'll show you what the magnanimity. So I'll share this picture with you. And sir, I think you'll have to make me the center part, then only this picture will come. Yeah. So when you see this picture, at the bottom is written 10 centimeters. This is the place you just keep yourself understanding what distance you're traveling. From 10 centimeters, we will go down to 10 billion light years away, right? And then when it is going into inside, you go into the nano and macro meters. So that is what actually give you the distance from where Google headquarters is there. And on the top where it is written smiling face, that is a place where the names of the places will keep emerging. So just keep a focus on these two and think. So let's start this particular movie for everyone. So this is something which sums up the entire spirituality for us. And the wordings of the song which have been put across Supule, I think it beautifully sums up the entire spiritual journey, which is there. What you just saw is what science has been able to identify. What is this Brahman created? We can go right up to 10 billion light years away. Last time in one of the sessions we had discussed, recently NASA has identified another universe which is around 100 billion light years away from here. And that time we said 100 billion light years, and they have taken pictures of it. That means those pictures from that particular point to travel to this particular thing and camera, for them to be recorded, it must have traveled 100 billion light years. So that means what you are watching is a story or an image which is 100 billion light years earlier than what is today. So the whole thing, if you really come, the scriptures, what have been teaching us, the Vedas, what it talks of, time and space, these all illusions. This actually identifies what exactly is illusion. And this is what we're going to be talking. In this illusion, when we talk of, this illusion, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So this illusion which has been created around us, this is not for some, there's a particular method in madness. Everything works according to God's plan. That's how we call is that He's the cause of all causes. So whatever is happening, it's happening with the purpose. And what has been created, it's been created with a purpose. Today we will understand as to why this whole complete Brahmand has been created and how does it work around. This particular knowledge, you'll be surprised, was recently, or I would say recently, it was in 1894, a book which was published by that is Swami Yukteswar Giriji, and by name of Holy Science. It's a must-read book for people who are at least in this forum. It's a must-read book. It's just 200 pages, but pure wisdom. You must read that. And this particular book was instructed to Yukteswar Giriji by Mahavatar Babaji, who met him there and said that this is what a task is for you, that you have to clarify the misconception about yugas which have come about. How the yugas are there. There was a lot of misconception that the Kali Yuga is going to last for 14 lakh years and other things. And he said this is what has gone wrong, because in its involution stage, when it was coming from Dwapar Yuga to Kali Yuga, the whole thing got vitiated. So that is the time Mahavatar Babaji had given the task down to Yukteswar Giriji to put this into order. And in this book, the first chapter which he deals with, he establishes fundamental truth of creation and describes the evolution and evolution of the world. So we will be talking about this, what Yukteswar Giriji had mentioned. And the best part of it is that this book has been written at the invent, or rather when Dwapar Yuga started. Because why it has been written in Dwapar Yuga, we'll just talk about it, because there's a reason behind for all this to happen. And this book has been a fundamental source of all wrongs which were there happening earlier. Now all rights are happening because of this faith which has come about. Swami Yukteswar Giriji was a guru of Swami Paramahansa Yogananda ji. And this book was written in 1894. And since then on, in the book, the best part is in the initial pages, the book Swami Yukteswar Giriji says that this knowledge will reach to the people who deserve to understand it. And this should be only understood by the people who have a profound understanding of things. Now, this is the way the book starts, that this is not for any and everyone to understand and may not be able to be understood. So the very fact that we are here today, I will bring it out how we are different from others. The people who are here on this group are different from others. And that's the reason this knowledge is reaching you all and making you understand, which you will understand. Swami Yukteswar Giriji had mentioned, he spoke about the Brahman, and he says in Oriental astronomy, we are all taught that the moon revolves around the planets, and the planets are turning on their axis. They revolve with their moons around the sun. and the sun with its planets and their moon take some other star for the dual, implying that the sun, which we feel is static, we all, and that's it. That is what we've been taught, that the sun is the static one. It's got planets which are moving around, and every planet has got moons, which is going around those planets. But the fact is, as per Vedic understanding, the sun is also having a motion, and that motion is with a particular star. It is having a dual along with it. And this dual, it moves from point A and returns to point A back again after having gone a particular distance. This complete dual takes 24,000 years as per the Earth understanding. When I say Earth understanding, the way we calculate time on Earth, based on that, it takes 24,000 years for this complete circle to happen. Sun, apart from this, also has another motion. And this motion is that it is revolving around the grand central. There's a much bigger sun which is in the center, which is known as Vishnu Nabhi. The sun, the complete sun is also revolving around this Vishnu Nabhi, which is a seat of creative power, the Brahma, the universal magnetism. Brahma is what regulates dharma, the mental virtues of the internal world. Let's see this with a little diagram, understand this with a little more diagram. Let me share this diagram with you. Yeah. So if you see these small circles which are made, these are nothing, but these are solar systems. Like we take this particular solar system where the Earth is part of this particular solar system. It has got a sun, it is revolving around the sun. And such, there are millions of such solar systems which are there in Brahman. What we saw the film was a fraction of what you saw. So similarly, in that fraction, what we saw was part of this particular small little circle, a fraction of this particular circle. So such millions and millions of such Brahmans are, such solar systems which are floating around the complete Brahman, like the way you see all around. Now, this sun which is there, which is along which this solar system is rotating around it, this sun has a dual with another star. You see this particular star, the sun, it is having a dual with another star, and they are making circle around each other. And this sun, which is there, is also making circle around us grand central, or what we call as Vishnu Nabhi, which is on the right. So this sun, which is there, it is making two circles. One is along the dual star. When it goes the furthest away, this time is known as Kal Yuga. And when it is closer, to the grand central, it's termed as Satyug. Because grand central is the one which is the seat of power or seat of Brahma, where the mental virtues are regulated from. This sun, apart from making a dual like this, is also making a dual around the grand Brahma. It goes like this, it climbs up, comes here, then goes like this, climbs up, comes the other side, it goes like this, climbs up, comes the other side, and it goes all around the Vishnu Nabhi. So the complete Brahman which is there, if we see again, I repeat, it's millions of such solar systems. The solar systems are revolving around the sun, and the sun around which these solar systems are revolving is revolving around another star. And this star and the sun system are revolving around the grand central. And it is the distance from the grand central and the sun is what dictates the virtues of the people living on the solar system, how they will be, what they will be, what will be the understanding, how fresh they will be. Today, science earlier only knew about this particular thing, like the 9 planets is what was there, those are sun. But the solar system, today, science has gone, they have also realized that there are more than such solar systems than what we have one. So they don't talk in millions, but they definitely say it is definitely more than 1 or 2 of them, what we know. Science has also started talking that the sun which is there, around which our planets are, revolving around, also has a movement. They have also come to realization that the sun does have a movement, it's not static. But we have yet to get to a point to understand that the sun and the duel with another star is happening or how it is happening. Let's understand this with another little picture which I have brought in here. This is Vishnunabhi. This is the star, sun, and this is a dual star, and they're making a thing. So when it is closest to it, it is Satyug, and Satyug has got a this time of 4,800 years, right? And from Satyug, as it keeps moving away from the Vishnunabhi, as it keeps moving away direction, it comes from Satyug to Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga has got a this time span of 3,000 years and 300 years of involution and 300 years of evolution. Means there is an overlap of it. So 300 years of overlap with Satyug and 300 years of overlap with Dwapar Yuga, which comes later. And 3,000 years is its span of Treta Yuga. And as it keeps moving away from the Vishnunabhi, this moves into Dwapar Yuga. And Dwapar Yuga has got a distance of 2,000 years with overlap of 200 years on either side. And then comes the last, as we get the furthest away, is the Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga has got a time span of 2,000 years with 100 years of overlap on either side of it. And in Kali Yuga, there is one descending order. When you are moving down, that is a descending order. And then when you start moving up in the Kali Yuga, that is known as ascending Kali Yuga. And there is a difference between descending Kali Yuga and the ascending Kali Yuga. And as you keep ascending, we are on the ascending path now. From Kali Yuga, we are moving to Dwapar and Dwapar to Treta. We are on an ascending path which is there. So as we keep ascending, the mental virtues of the people living on the planets over here in the solar system will keep improving. It will keep becoming better and better. So if you actually see the whole thing which is there, it's a very divine plan. It doesn't just happen on its own, which is coming through. Now, I just draw your attention here again. The second one I mentioned, that this is the Vishnunabhi. If you see, I made it with the hand. This is the grand central, the Vishnunabhi in the center. And the sun which is there was making a duel with the other sun out here, right? And how was the movement? It would go the furthest away, come up, go again this way, go further, come up, go further, come up. This is the way. This is making circles around the grand central or Vishnunabhi. Now this shows why Satyug, when I gave you the time frames, it shows why Satyug is just about 1,000 years with 100 years of overlap on either side. Reason is, see, now if you see the pattern of the sun which is moving, when it goes the furthest away, it immediately makes a turn and comes back. And when it comes back, it keeps exposing and moves in a lateral direction along the Vishnunabhi. And that is the precise reason when you come into Satyug, the distance or the time taken with Satyug is 4,000 years with 800 years of overlap on both the sides. So that's the reason. And the movement of this Kali Yuga is the shortest which comes in. Now, this is where the whole understanding the knowledge actually got vitiated. And this is what Yukteswar Giriji was brought in to explain this and revive that knowledge which was lost in Dwapar Yuga. When Mahabharata happened, after that, the last king of thing, when Yudhishthira's son, who was the last king, when Yudhishthira and everyone departed to the mountains. So when he was the king, the grandson of Duryodhan, so he's the one who actually, his courtiers who were there, they missed out in the calculation. And from there on, the calculations went wrong in understanding. So this is what has been rectified by Yukteswar Giriji in this. Now, if you see the thing, Grand Central, this is the sun which is closer to the Grand Central, and this is the another star which is making a duel along with it. So when it is closest, it is Satyug, and when it keeps going, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. So one move from Grand Central to the furthest point and furthest point to the Grand Central is termed as one electric cycle. And one cycle that is from Kali Yuga towards the Grand Central is known as half electric cycle. Half electric cycle is nothing but a time span of 12,000 years. So the complete circle, the one electric cycle is 24,000 years, which is there. Now, if you see, it was in 11,500 BCE. That's the time the sun started moving away from Vishnu. So if you see the top on the left hand side, that is the point where we started moving away. That means we were in Satyug that time, the golden era, and we started moving away from there. And we keep descending, and by 6,700 BCE, we exited the Satyug and came into Treta Yuga, or we call it Silver Yuga. Yeah. And it was 3,100 BCE that we exited Treta Yuga, Silver Age, and came into Bronze Age, or known as Dwapar Yuga. It was in 700 BCE that we exited Dwapar Yuga and we came into Kali Yuga. Now, if you see, as per Mahabharata, as per scriptures, Krishna Bhagwan left his sharir at the point when we were moving from Dwapar Yuga to Kali Yuga. So when we talk of Kalki ji will come, and this is there. So Kalki ji's avatars were Krishna Bhagwan at the time when we moved from Dwapar Yuga to Kali Yuga. And in Kali Yuga, it was Buddha ji, who actually was a Kalki thing. Now, as per the thing, again, there is going to be a thing. As per people who are informed, they say the avatar has already taken place, but it is yet to manifest. They say all what is happening is because of the avatars. He's already arrived on this earth, and things are actually getting better. How things are. So from 700 BCE up to 500 CE is the time when we were in the descending Kali Yuga. Now, this was the most dark age. In this, the understanding of a mankind was just about by what five senses we can see and hear and touch and do that. It is only from 500 CE, when we were at the bottom of it, if you see, generally the time where Christ came about, right? And that is the time where we started moving into ascending Kali Yuga. And when we started moving into ascending Kali Yuga, that's the time the realization started happening to the mankind. We are today in Dwapar Yuga. And Dwapar Yuga, the Dwapar Yuga started in 1700 CE, right? And Swami Yukteswarji was instructed by Mahavatar Guruji to write this particular book. It was in 1800th century, right? And he wrote this book in 1894. And this book was written in Dwapar Yuga because understanding of a mankind to understand this knowledge was not there or is not there in Kali Yuga for people to understand this. So there was no point. But all what was wrong had to be rectified. So rectification had to come at the beginning of the Dwapar Yuga. Now is the time that we all will understand this knowledge. This knowledge will only grow. And as it keeps growing, it will only improve us how we go from here on. From here up to 4100 CE is the time when we'll enter into Treta Yuga. So when we're in Dwapar Yuga, the mental faculties of a mankind will take a quantum jump. There's going to be so fast progress, which it's very difficult for people to fathom. Now, I will just correlate. You see what is happening in and around, and you realize this happening, how the things are happening. The electricity, the flow of electricity and the flow of energy will be understood by the mankind that's in the Dwapar Yuga. And when we move into Treta Yuga, that's the time the man will understand the finer aspect of electronic energy or the atomic energy which is there. And that is what is magnetism, the divine magnetism, what we call as. In that, the telepathy and other things will become a norm by itself, right? And when we move into, that is by 1700 CE, when we move into Satyug, that's the time the complete understanding of what God is, how he is, how we connected to it, would be all known to the mankind. So this is the way the complete divine game has been made, and it works one after the other. So we think that, oh, we are doing it, we are going. No, it actually happens the way it has been worked out. So if you see this particular thing, this is the way Jyoti's work on. So I just brought this because this has got a total connect with the people who work with astrology. Now, if you look at this particular thing, the equinox which are there in Satyayug, it started for 4,800 years. We started descending into Treta Yug, Treta to Dwapar, and then to Kali Yug. And now from Kali Yug, we're coming to Dwapar Yug. So this particular picture was made in 2014, and he's put the point there that this is the point where we are today, right? So all predictions which are done, which are made, they are going to get more accurate, because earlier the predictions which are being made by the people, astrologers who were there, they never made much of sense, which didn't come through. Half of the time they wouldn't be right. Reason was there was a flaw in understanding. With this thing coming in, the understanding is going to be much better and be much more clearer. So we have seen that the way things are changing, how they keep moving. Now, I would also like to bring out in Vedas, it has been written that the power of writing will actually come when the person will lose its ability to memorize. That means when his mental faculties will drop, that's the time actually the person will start writing. So invention of writing was not a sign of civilization advancement, but a decline in human awareness. So during Satyug era, the people would never write and read. Everything was in the mind. Every person was like a supercomputer, and everything was in the mind. And you could, without speaking, you could communicate to each other, telepathy, what we call as. But when the Satyug was declining, this knowledge would have vanished because the mental faculties were coming down. So that's the time Vyasa had written Vedas as told by Brahma. That was at the decline of the Satyug. And as Treta Yuga started off, and Treta Yuga was on a decline, the mental faculties of the mankind kept reducing. And this divine magnetism, which was understood during Treta Yuga, was also diminishing and was not fully in understanding of the mankind. That's a time to keep the knowledge alive. Yoga Vishishta, who actually told Ram, the Ramayana, which is there, he had written this particular Yoga Vishishta, that is nothing but a Vedic understanding, the Vedas, the knowledge which is there in Treta Yuga. And that is how this knowledge kept percolating down to the people from Treta Yuga to Dwapar Yuga. And when Dwapar Yuga came, the famous Mahabharata happened and Bhagavad Gita was written, where it was written by Vyasa. And this particular thing was knowledge, but nothing, Bhagavad Gita is nothing but the same Vedantic knowledge, which actually has been profoundly put across for our understanding as Bhagavad Gita. And when we came into Kali Yuga, that's a time the understanding was only of 5 senses. And this understanding was actually translated by Shankaracharya in Viveka Chodmani, the Manishi Panchakaram on Atma-Bodh, which was written by Shankaracharya. This was nothing but an interpretation of the Vedic understanding in Kali Yuga. So what actually it implies is that the complete understanding of the mankind, of how he moves away from the Grand Central and closer to Grand Central, what effect it has on him and how it grows. I mentioned to you that it was in 1500, it was when the Kali Yuga started, we started moving into descending Kali Yuga. Until 500 CE is the time when descending Kali Yuga was there. After 500 CE, the ascending Kali Yuga started. Till then, there was no inventions because man had no clue of what it is. He only understood those 5 senses. He lived just for his survival. Survival of the fittest was the only thing which he knew how to go about it. It's only after 500 CE, the phase which is there from 500 CE to 700 AD, that is the time when we got into Dwapar Yuga, the rapid advancement starting off. Aryabhatta discovered zero and calculated the value of pi. This happened between 500 AD to 1700 AD. Kepler discovered important law of astronomy, and Galileo invented the telescope. The Newton discovered the law of gravitation. Gabriel of Holland invented the microscope. The earliest poems were written in English. Oxford University came into being, which actually became the repository of knowledge which is there. Leonardo Fabricano published the book on abacus, which became and revolutionized the mathematics in Europe. From the moment we entered into Dwapar Yuga, that is from 1700 onwards, rapid scientific advancement happened. Nothing had happened before that, but rapid scientific advancement happened. The Industrial Revolution began in 1760. The Second Industrial Revolution began in 1870. William Gilbert discovered magnetic force and observed the presence of electricity in all material substance. This is what Dwapar Yuga says. In Dwapar Yuga, the mankind will understand the flow of energy and electricity. The electricity, how it works in the mankind, he would come to know. And not only in mankind, as time goes by, he will see how the electricity actually connects the mankind to the universe. Thomas Savage made use of the steam engine in raising water. Stephen Gray discovered the action of electricity in the human body. Napoleon Bonaparte conquered Malta and outlawed slavery, trying to bring that actually the political stability started happening during this time. Prior to that, there were all wars and instability that happened there. Thereafter, in the later time frame, in the closer time frame, as what we are is founding of the Google, Facebook, Apple. They are nothing but current wave of revolution in the field of information technology. So if you see the way it has been written, the way it's been described, everything is happening around us in the same manner. Dwapar Yuga is the yuga where massive, rapid advancement in electricity and understanding the nuances of electricity will be there. Now, what are these electricities? These electricities are nothing but the five senses what we have. They're all five currents and of different nature. Eye for seeing, nose for smelling, the current which is there, ears for hearing, the electric current which is there, touch similarly. So all five senses are there within us. We will only be expanding and understanding these five senses, the electricities and their function. And if you see the advancement which is happening, it is only the advancement in these five different type of electricities which we see in and around. The first wave which happened was a steam power from lump of coal. The second wave which happened was electricity and magnetism. The third wave which has happened is the transistors and lasers. And the fourth wave is the molecular level, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, biotechnology. So if you see, everything is changing and changing very fast around us. So there is a divine intervention and understanding. Now, as we go along, there is a change which is happening in the mankind. Like I told you that we are here, we are all together, not for just sake of it. We are here with a purpose. There's a reason that we've all got together here. We may be 15 or 20 today, because these 15 and 20 are the ones which are different from the other people. Why other people are not getting to come here? There would be certain reasons, obviously. But most of the people just come and go. Reason is because they have not reached to a point where they can understand a knowledge which is being discussed here. So what state you are in, you actually represent that heart. There are 5 states of human heart. The first is dark heart. The second is propelled heart. The third is steady heart. And the fourth is devoted heart. And the fifth and the last is the clean heart. So what is that dark heart? Your guess is as good as mine. We all understand what dark heart means. In the dark state of human heart, man misconceives. He thinks that this gross material portion of the creation is the only real substance in existence, and that there is nothing besides us. We all know that this is contrary to the truth and is nothing but an effect of ignorance or avidya, what we call as. So the dark heart is the thing which understands only the five senses, what it gives you the input. Like I mentioned, that during Kali Yuga, we are all but nothing, but we had this dark heart. Our understanding was confined to it. In the state, the man is also called Shudra, or belonging to the servant class. Now, actually, you will understand what these classes really mean, not the way we have been told or what we see around. So, in this state, the man is called Shudra, or belonging to the servant class, because his natural duty is to serve the high class people in order to secure the company and thereby prepare for heart to attain the higher stage. What it implies is that in this stage, when you have a dark heart, you're always looking for a better company to move up and up and up. So you're like a Shudra. Instead of you moving to someone better, you connect to the people whom you find comparatively better than you, and you work along them. And whenever in any solar system, man generally remains in this state and is ordinarily deprived of advancing beyond the same, the whole of the system is said to be in Kali Yuga, the dark cycle. So what we are seeing around us and what we've seen in the past is nothing but their dark hearts, the people who cannot understand and go beyond. And we come into the category of Shudras. Next heart is the propelled heart. When man becomes a little enlightened, he compares his experience relating to material creation. He gathers information in his wakeful state and his experience in dream and understanding. He begins to entertain doubts. His heart then becomes propelled to learn the real nature of universe and struggles to clear this doubt, seeks evidence to determine what is truth. Do you realize that why you are here? It is the reason that from dark heart, you have evolved and come into a propelled heart. You have understood there is more enlightenment. Rather, there is some enlightenment which has come into you, and that's the reason you are evolved. And you have a propelled heart. And in this propelled heart, you are understanding and finding the real meaning. And that is the precise reason that we all converge at a point like this to understand from each other how the things are happening around us. In this state, the man is called Kshatriya, or the one of the military class. He struggles in the manner aforesaid. Struggle becomes his natural duty. We're all struggling. We're all trying to understand from one another. Someone tells me, read this book. I immediately rush and go and read that book. Come and talk to the other person and say, oh, that's very good. And every time an interaction of this nature, there's a bodily change which happens. The cells grow within you and the evolution process happens. Like in the last talk, I had mentioned about the breath, that evolution has brought in the change in your face, the change in the way nasal tract runs. They become narrow and different, which is there. Similarly, when you are understanding and talking about spirituality, every moment you're evolving. You are moving from lower step to a higher step. That is from dark heart to a propelled heart. Sandhishthala. This state is also known as Sandhishthala, a place between higher and lower state. So we are all right now in this state. Someone is very high in this particular thing. Someone is lower in this thing. But we're definitely in this Sandhishthala stage where we are in higher and low state. In this state, man becomes anxious for real knowledge, needs help from one another. Hence, mutual love. The principal necessity for gaining salvation appears in the heart. Motivated by energetic tendency of this love, man affectionately keeps company with those who destroys trouble, clear doubts, and afford peace to him. Why we are all galvanizing around Gorsa and other people? Reason is this, that we all propelled hearts. We all want to move. That's the reason we have genuine respect and admiration for each other. And we're all together to move into a rightful direction. After having reached the propelled heart, the next heart comes as a steady heart. Steady heart is when man withdraws from the gross material world. Bhuloka enters into the world of fine matter, that is Bhuloka. We have all understood and we have attended those lectures where we have been told what is Bhuloka, what is Bhuloka. So similarly is when we move from Bhuloka, understanding of the physicality, to Bhuloka, the finer matter. The finer matter is what we talk of, pranas and various other things which we're talking of. And that is what the finer matter of things is there. Like what we spoke in the last lecture when we were talking about the breath, that how the breath actually takes you down right up to the cell's exchange of electrons, the electron excitability, which is nothing but pranic movement, which is there. So when we move there, that's the time we come into the steady heart. In this state, he comprehends the internal electricities, the second fine material. The state is also known as Dwapara. And when this general state, everyone gets into it, this state is known as Dwapar Yug. From Kal Yug, to move to Dwapar Yug, we have to come to a propelled heart, and from propelled heart, we have to come to a steady heart. And we have to grow from Bhuloka to Bhuloka. That is the internal electricities, which we are talking of, the 5 electricities are there, how it functions within, and how these internal things are connected to outside. So if you see what Umaji and others who come and teach us about pranas and other things, they are talking of this electricity, the connect which is there from Brahman to individuals. How are we connected? How are these things happening? And when they do those little exercises and tell you to do those, they are actually making this electricity move within you. And that's how these things have been effect. When we talk of pranic healing, this is nothing. It's a moving of those electricities and understanding of it. Today, you see, in Dwapar we have come in, people are getting aware, people are still in the dark heart stage, and people like you who are here, you are the ones, a chosen few who have actually come ahead. There are so many who are much ahead of we all who are sitting here. So the thing is that we are on right lines and we have to continue to move forward and forward. The faster we move, the better it is. Because time has come. There is a divine time which is around us, which is giving us the right time frame and environment for us to grow. And if we use this, we will grow faster and faster. Next comes is the devoted heart. Devoted heart is nothing. We saw the Bhuloka, the physical, Bhuva, the finer energy within us. The third comes as Swaloka. This is when you get into this particular frame, the man is fit to understand the mysteries of Chitta. And what is Chitta? This is a divine magnetism, what we call it. The magnetic, this is the third portion of the material creation. He becomes Vipra, nearly a perfect being. The state of mind is prevalent in Treta Yuga. Like I told you, when you get into Treta Yuga, you will understand divine magnetism. So when you start understanding this divine magnetism, your heart will be the devoted heart. You would know what is Swarloka, how it functions and what it is. And last but not the least comes as the clean heart. In this stage, man reaches Mahaloka, the great world, no longer subject to the influence of ignorance. He attains a clear heart. He enters the natural caste of Brahma, which are known, or Brahmins, I must say, natural caste of Brahmins, known as Brahma. This state of mind is prevalent in Satyuga. From Kshatriya, you move to Brahmins. And Brahmins, when it is there, when you know of Brahma, is what is a clean heart. And this is what is Satyuga. which comes into it. So if you see, moving from black heart to devoted heart, to propelled heart, to steady heart, to devoted heart, and to clean heart, this is all a divine game plan of how we can go around. As we keep moving in yogas, the heart of a mankind keeps changing. So one question comes in at this particular point. That means everything is so orchestrated. So then how do you reach up? That means you'll have to wait till Satyug for you to grow up and reach for salvation. No, it isn't that way. For that, God has given you that opportunity. He's given you that understanding. He's given you that power that you can move faster. Even in Kali Yuga, you can move to reach up to the clean heart stage. That's the reason if you see in Kali Yuga, there was understanding was so less. Only thing which was told was devotion. And that's the reason जो हम आरती करते हैं, पूजा करते हैं, without thinking, we just keep doing it. Because that is what was actually the reason that in dark age or Kali Yuga, the mankind's understanding will not be there. So to get the mankind to grow, to evolve, is to bring in devotion. And that's the reason this devotion was brought in. It was told to us that just to puja, get across, dhoop batti jalao, aarti karo, bhajan karo, this is the way to go ahead to God. But now we have evolved and come ahead. We must get across from all these things. That's not the way to go about. That was a way to go about. We have to now get across to understand the knowledge. And this is exactly when we talk in various forums, and I've been talking, and so is Gauri keep telling, is that ask more questions. And ask questions not for asking for heck of it. Ask questions which actually there's a doubt which comes right from within. And do not hesitate asking anyone. Invariably, we find, oh, this person may know, may not know. And we all always keep looking for the guy who's very informed. Not necessarily. The guy supposedly whom we say are very informed may be just about book information. The person whom we think are not too very informed, but intuitively they are far ahead. So the question what this individual will tell me may be that other individual will not be able to tell us. In one of the forums, I was reminded where Gauri had brought in, there was a young IS officer who had taken this lecture. And he had mentioned, he said, look, because zyada nahi pata, but he told his experience. What he spoke was all coming from here. And I found that what he mentioned, that knowledge was so profound in what he was giving his experience, which probably very, qualified people when they talk really can't bring that particular understanding which is there. The last lecture which has been done by Hemaji, what was there? It was nothing but pure emotions coming right from here. Every word had so much of depth into it. If you understand, it'll give you answers, not one, numerous answers of this particular thing. And this is exactly what it is, that we can change and continue to change. We are on right lines. We are already propelled hearts. And out of us, a few are got into the steady heart state. And if we continue, we will keep moving ahead. And how to continue is we must try and achieve purification of the three bodies which we carry: the physical body, the astral body, and the cosmic body. Bhu, Bhwa, Swaha. These are three lokas which we have to get across. The moment we get across through these three lokas and come up to Swaha Loka, that's the time the Mahaloka opens up. That is the place where Dashma Dwar is what is termed as is there. So when we get across this Dashma Dwar is what we will be exposed to the divine understanding, which we call as Jana Loka, where our spirit is known or our soul is exposed to us, or rather we understand that we are soul. Beyond that, if you go to Tapaloka, that's a time where we understand the spirit which comes in. And Satyaloka, obviously, is the one which is the God, the divine itself. So this is what I thought that I shall cover this with you all because, to my understanding, this is a very profound understanding which we all have. But to just sequencize and put into a logical understanding, I thought that this would be fine. And not only this, right now, I had been to like in US and I had this meeting with the Cornell University, and there was a particular forum where they were having there's a book being read, and people were talking about that particular book, and I went in there, and there was a discussion happening on that, and there were people who were talking about religion, and they were talking of the 9/11, which has happened in US, and how Muslims were prosecuted in US after that particular incident, and how those people had to move out and other things. And that time, one thing which emerged to me, and I brought this up in the forum, and I said, look, all what had happened earlier was with a reason. That was basically uniting the world. That's what my understanding is. Britishers did wrong what they did to us. But actually, if you look at it, Britishers are the ones who actually united the world together. They brought in semblance of nationhood. Like I give you example of Napoleon Bonaparte. He went in there, he captured Malta. What he did, slavery was abolished. If you see in past 100 years, things have only got better and better and better, and how to go about it. So things are changing. Now, what is an impediment in the growth which is happening? My understanding is religion. Religion is the biggest impediment. Religion has done its bit in Kali Yuga, where we were told, okay, devotion. And that's how the religions all got into it. Someone became Hindu, some became Muslim, some became Christian, and they progressed in that particular sphere and kept devotion as their prime thing. Time has come for the devotion part to go. And to go, the religion needs to go. The religion wearing on the sleeves must go, because this is what is identifying A to B to C. And this is exactly what I brought out. I said time has come for a new religion to revive, to come forward. And this new religion is nothing but spirituality, is what we are all talking, because all religion talk of the science. And we must talk spirituality in form of science and get over this cliched argument of thought, oh, भगवान है, कुछ कहाँ है, appear हो जाते हैं, प्रकट हो जाते हैं, बस कर रहे हैं. नहीं. भगवान आपके साथ हैं, like I told you, he created this Brahman. We are part of this Brahman. We are connected. Every cell is connected to another cell. We have a connect from one to another to another. And this connect has to be understood scientifically. And the earlier we understand, that is what the growth is. If you listen to Nirmal ji and Tavaria ji and others who are renowned people, they are the people who understood these connections and they've gone beyond. They are the people who actually have reached to, the clean heart and reached to those points which are there. And that's how they are. We all have the capacity to be there. We all have the capacity to do it. And we are in a forum where we are all together, and we will continue with this and keep moving up. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any questions? So you can just, or anything to share, you can just unmute yourself and please come on. And for everybody's thing, I must tell you that in the chat box, I have put the link of a Google link, and it is from where you can download the Holy Science in PDF form. So this book you don't even have to buy, you can just go to this link which I have posted and download it.
This is the book. This is the book. Just look at the width of this book, just 200 pages. And I'm telling you, I have read this book 14 times. And every time I read this book, I understand it differently. It's amazing, amazing. Must read.
I can share, Kundraji, you said that certain things, they are revealed only when you are ready. So I can share something about it. There was one gentleman who was a relative of mine. He once had gone to Soli Tawariaji, and he told him, like many people who are educated and who are used to reading books and gleaning knowledge from the books or depending upon books for knowledge. He said हमारे ऋषि मुनि तो बहुत ही कंजूस थे, उन्होंने कुछ रिकॉर्ड रखा नहीं, तो सब कुछ तो गायब हो गया, कुछ मिला नहीं. And then for the first time I saw Tavaria ji getting angry, and he said, if you think like this, then you better go. You do not deserve to be here before me. And he said, you see, knowledge is always available. It is never hidden. Only when you raise your awareness to that level where that knowledge can be revealed to you, it will appear. Somehow or the other, existence has a mechanism by which the knowledge will be revealed. Because all this knowledge is revealed, and whatever you learn from the book can even become a kind of a burden, because that is in the domain of that mental remembrance. And he said, look what the scientists are doing. They have this knowledge about the atomic energy and the nuclear energy, and they're making bombs. They have created enough bombs by which this whole world can be destroyed many times over. Now, so when you really get into the spiritual science, then you get the science of synthesis. You get that holistic vision where you can just get everything. And I must add this, that somewhere in 1994, somebody who was a very senior sadhak from our Guru's ashram, he had given me a copy of this book. I tried to read it, I could not make out anything. And because I was in a transferable job, the book was lost. So it is maybe, that the merit to be exposed to the book happened today, and that is why your lecture came up. So it is time for me to go and read this book.
No, it happens. This book I have, when I read this book, I got so intimidated by this book. And, I was so excited when I was actually retiring. So at the time of retirement, I generally, whenever I give gift, I give books. So I gave this collection of very thin books, like one is this and others of Swami Vivekananda, and all gave it. And I gave it down to people, and I thought people will read. Not a soul read through that book. People don't even know kahan gayi book utha gayi, chali gayi. So it doesn't reach. It'll reach at the right time when the time comes.
That is true. So any questions? Anybody want to share something or say? Sonika? Yes, Sonika.
Thanks for explaining the topic in such a nice and easy way. Like as I told last time when somebody spoke about Mahabharata, and the new perspective of seeing the same thing came into the light. Same thing happened the way you were explaining the yoga and the time, and how our knowledge actually, transferred from a very big to lower, and now again we are gaining that, is very easy to comprehend. And I completely agree, though I joined it late, I'll see the recording. And every single word you spoke, I was very convinced that yes, this is the right understanding, which anyone, any layman in a normal situation can understand in a very easy way, which is otherwise very difficult to comprehend when we read the scriptures, because we do not have that kind of understanding. So thanks a lot for making the difficult things very, very easy to understand. And I'm so blessed to listen to you and get the right knowledge at the right time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else, please?
I wanted to share something.
Yes.
Yeah.
While that film was being shown, I recollected and almost relived an experience of meditation that I had years ago in an intensive, Shaktipat intensive in Gurudev Siddhapeeth Ashram. In that meditation, I was lifted in a by a helicopter or whatever, like the ladders or coming out from an aeroplane, and lifted into the higher realms of the world. And I saw galaxies and worlds and so many lokas. That's how I understood it. And I was going up and up and up, lost into it. After that, when I was coming down, I also entered into my own heart and saw those veins and blood cells and things right into my body. So it was not exactly, but I recall that experience so vividly, and I'm so fortunate to have visited those worlds in gratitude to that experience. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. I mentioned the propelled heart. You learn through each other, and not only through each other, it is your own experience which happened in physical thing and in dream stage. It says in the dream stage also you will be evolving. So the intuitively which comes is all in dream state. So all these what happens are not just out of the blue. They're happening. They're actually happening. If you have moved, you actually have been into the Brahman. Why you move into Brahman is basically there's some cells within you get connected, get activated. The pranas connect your physical body to the cosmic body. When it comes into the astral body, or it could be into the chitta, which is there. And when it gets there, that's the reason you start getting profound understanding of things which are far beyond. So these things don't happen. That's the reason I said we all here should be very happy and proud of this particular fact. Proud not of that ego proud, but proud of the fact, rightful proud, that we are on right lines. And you guys are all propelled hearts. And amongst us, like I told you, you're already beyond propelled hearts. You are already into the Dwapara heart, So, right.
There is something that just came to me while Shalaji was sharing her experience. It's like this, that when you meditate, when you are in an intensive, the Guru's energy starts entering your body. And the Guru's energy, when it starts entering your body, your vibratory level or your awareness levels are raised instantaneously very high. So as you rise, so from the gross body to the energy body to the emotional body, then the mental body, you start traveling, and if you just even transcend that, then you can get an experience of this. At the electronic level, this whole cosmos is laid bare, it's open to you.
Yes.
And that is what she had this experience. So like Kundraji said, there is this Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, Janaha. So all these different layers are being exposed, and that is how the experience has come. Maybe those experiences are there for a short while. If a person can stay in that experience at one point of time for say 45 minutes, then that would be raising the vibratory level to such an extent that one can be called an enlightened person in that moment.
Yeah.
But this is how it happens. This is how the energy unfolds. So as Kudraji explained that, the knowledge of the yugas is a basic understanding of how the humanity is going to evolve or how it is evolving. But within that humanity, each one of us contains that seed of evolution where we can work upon ourselves and move from the Kali Yuga to the Dwapar and to Treta and to Satyuga. That possibility is always there. That seed exists within the heart of each one. And that is where Kundraji spoke about the Sandhi Kal. So what is a Sandhi? It's a point of transition. So you are in a particular level, you are reaching the end of that level. And you are not exactly in the upper higher level. But you are in between. And that is when even a slight effort, if it is done, it can suddenly give a boost to the awareness and one can just shift into another level. So that is the beauty of Sandhikal. And we are all being given that opportunity every day in so many ways. When the morning has not broken completely and the night has not left.
Yeah.
There is a Sandhikal. When the evening has not lapsed into the night and the night has not come, there is a Sandhikal. When the breath has fully, it has dissolved inside, there is no breath, the in-breath is not there and the out-breath has not started. So there is that point of Sandhi. And even when we breathe out, when the breath has dissolved on the outside and the incoming breath has not started. So there is a Sandhi point. If we are aware of the Sandhi point, we can all make tremendous progress. That is why it is very important to observe. Anger is coming. But if a person has become aware and he decides not to get involved in that anger, so there is a point where there is a possibility of getting involved in the anger and there is also a possibility of getting separated from that anger. So if the Sandhi point is used properly, then one can separate himself from the anger, refuse to be guided by his impulsive emotions, and take a decision in pure awareness. So that is the beauty of this Sandhikal. It is a tremendous potential, and all the sadhanas are about the Sandhikal. Becoming aware that one gap where there is pure awareness. One thought has subsided, another has not arisen. There is that gap. The Sandhi is there. So are we aware of the Sandhi? That itself is a big sadhana. And that is where doing mindlessly, Sundraji spoke very eloquently about not doing things mindlessly. We are accustomed to doing certain rituals. So we keep doing things, repeating them again and again. So it becomes a mechanical action. So instead of getting used to anything mechanically, if we are aware and bring our full awareness to that action, then something really beautiful will emerge. And every day, why do our practices lose their charm? Because we are doing them mechanically. If we do them with great awareness, then every day the practice will be different and its effect will be different. So that is what just came up spontaneously. So I thought I would share.
That's true. That's very true.
So संधिकाल पर ध्यान कर लीजिए 5-10 मिनट. कुंद्रा जी आप कराएंगे मेडिटेशन?
सर आप कराइए सर.
हम कराते. हाँ अभी टाइम तो है.
अभी है टाइम है.
So I'll just use a little sound also. So just become aware of your posture. Sit comfortably. It is preferable if the spine is naturally erect and your head is balanced between the two shoulders. Have this very gentle awareness that the spine is rising up towards the ceiling all by itself. And with this thought, see how the body starts rearranging itself in the most comfortable situation. Just take a minute to make yourself comfortable. Now close your eyes. Allow your face to become the face of a child. Free from all cares of the world. And having full faith that existence is going to take care of everything. And begin to pay attention to your breath. Be aware of the breath as it moves in and also as it moves out. Watch the full trajectory of the breath. See what it is doing to your lungs, your chest, your abdomen. How it is being felt in various organs of the body. The moment we begin to pay attention to the breath, it becomes more subtle, easy, and comforting. And it starts happening without any effort. It is as if the air outside is breathing into you and out of you, all by itself. Bring your awareness to the top of the nasal passage. And become aware of the breath as it moves in and as it moves out. If possible, become aware of certain sensations which you feel at the top of the nasal passage when the breath comes in. If not, Just be with the breath. Gradually the awareness of the body is lost. The physical body seems like a big hollow in which the breath is moving in by its own power and is exiting it by its own power. So as you are with the breath, become aware of the various facets of the breath, the areas it is moving into, the area where the incoming breath is dissolving, become aware of any vibrations or movements of energy which are being released by the breath in the body. You will notice that the breath is becoming more and more subtle. And the number of thoughts striking the mind are becoming lesser and lesser. Direct your awareness to the mind. It is like a river in which many thoughts are just moving. Be the person sitting on the bank of the river, taking note of these thoughts. Occasionally also be aware of the breath, and you will notice that the thoughts just drop instantaneously. So if you do not get involved either with the breath or with the mind, you become the witness, watching your breath or watching your mind. Bring greater intensity to the witnessing. This bringing greater intensity to your witnessing is moving from Dwapar to Treta, from the field of energy to the electronic level. You will notice that the thoughts have become very, very few. And the breath is happening on its own. And now ask yourself this question: who is witnessing? Ask to see the witness. So when you are witnessing, your energy is going either to your breath or to the thoughts in the mind. And when you ask yourself who is witnessing, the energy returns from the breath to the witness, from the thoughts to the witness. And the witness drops immediately. If asking as to who is the witness appears difficult, give yourself two tasks of witnessing at one time. So try to become simultaneously aware of your breath and also your mind. Or else try to become aware of your thoughts and also the pulsations in your heart. Given this type of multitasking, the mind drops immediately. You find yourself in awareness that is not defined. It's a state of inner presence and vibrancy that holds tremendous potential. So for a few moments, just sit with closed eyes in that awareness. And if you notice that any thoughts are arising or you are drawn outside, come back to your breathing. And then to the question, who is watching this breath? In the state of pure awareness, Be aware of all the sounds. Be aware of the contact between your sit bones and the chair or the bed or the ground. Be aware of how your hands are placed, where your feet are resting. Be aware of the sound of the fan or AC, if any. You are perfectly alert and aware, and yet nothing touches you or affects you. In this state, you are not your physical body. You are not the limited self. You are one with everything around you. Now gradually start becoming more aware of your physical body. Take a few deep breaths and let the presence of the body in its physical terms be felt more clearly. You may want to bring your palms together, rub them against one another, cover your eyes with your palms, and let the energy from the palms move into the body through the filter of the eyes or vice versa. Keep breathing. Let the energy be equalized within the body. When you are ready, you can just caress your face. Thank yourself for having participated in this meditation. Offer your deepest love to yourself. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes very, very gently. It is important to come out of meditation slowly, because if you come out with a jerk, you may find it difficult to go within the next time. So now bring yourself firmly here in this moment, in the here and now. So, was it a good finale to Kundraji's session? Anybody wants to, after such profound knowledge having been given to all of us?
Amazing to us.
Amazing to us. So, thank you everybody.
Thank you.
And thank you Kundraji for such an enlightening session. It was really, took all of us to another level. Yes, Umaji is agreeing. So thank you so much. And in fact, we will look forward to have many more sessions from you. हम लालची लोग हैं.
Yeah, many more series.
Series. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir.
And